Tragedy speaks volumes or volume, and it's a bad thing, right? Tragedy is a bad thing, and it's no exception to the people who were in the MH17, a Malaysian Airlines that flew over Ukrainian airspace. As we know, now is still in civil strife, or Russia having its shenanigans on that country. So this video is to address what happens when you explode, not to say the person itself, but the vehicle that carries you at a certain height. What happens to you when suddenly you experience decompression? Yes, it's that gruesome part of the thing that is, well, curiosity. I've asked industry experts, which is normally my friend, that's all. Asked him what happens when one is exposed to the atmosphere or the lack of it in the sky above. What happens? Is it the same as what happens in space, where you kind of like not explode but freeze because it's like very, very cold up there? Well, in space, when it comes to the question of where how cold it can get, let's take a piece of metal, yeah, a piece of metal on a space station. When it's in direct contact with the sun on Earth's perimeter outside there, where you can float, like the space station. What's the name of the space station? God knows. Uh, ISIS or CIS? Not sure. It piece of metal can go up to as high as 270 plus Celsius. That's quite hot. That's very hot. But when it's not exposed to the sun, the piece of metal on that satellite can go as cold as minus 100 degrees Celsius. I guess temperature can go up and down quite fast, quite instantly, some would say. And well, I think when it comes to like a astronaut, I think, okay, this is an assumption, I'm not sure whether it happens or not, but my friend says that if you are suddenly exposed to space, the cold will kill the person first before, well, anything else happens, like well the liquid suddenly boils because of the differences in like, say, what do you call that word? No idea. The word that I was looking for is pressure, I guess. Who knows? Just to cover all my bases, so what happened to MH17? Missile struck it, thanks to some people from Earth, whether it's the rebel separatists or the Russians or the Ukrainians, but the compass needle is pointing at the rebel separatists, using a book surface to air missile courtesy of Russian military. It destroyed the MH17, which has about 283 passengers and 15 crew on board. That roughly translate, or specifically translate, to as 298 people on board. My friend says that most of the people in that MH17 died instantly upon that missile impact due to something called gunnels. So I found this article. I'm not going to explain it with my limited knowledge. This article is from Mail Online, and the experts describes what happens to the MH17. So this is what happened. Strewn everywhere, the big turbine engines there. So the missile that struck the MH17 is a SA-11 that carries a high explosive warhead that weighs about 70 kilograms. Wow, 70 kilograms is quite heavy, and it has all this fragmentation warhead that acts like a shrapnel that pierces the tin foil or whatever is made of this airline, And since the fuels are always down below, so it kind of like exploded a bit, I guess. And this is the one of the missile system, or the vehicle that carries the book missiles, or is it called the book missile system? Yeah. So when the missile exploded and perforated and punctured this unfortunate airplane, due to decompression, and bear in mind that this airplane is has a high pressure within, because humans need to breathe and need to survive in a low pressured environment, which is what this airplane is flying in. Due to the decompression from high temperature, or sorry, high pressure to low pressure, it could have knocked most of the people inside instantly into unconsciousness. So what happens next is, well, instant death actually. Can either die of instant cold, or if they still survive the sudden coldness, I guess, uh, they will be thrown into the ground below. And since they are unconscious, they would not like feel the impact of their bones and whatever within their bodies being pulverized by the energy that they have, which is momentum and gravity and whatnot. When you have a piece of body falling from the sky, so high in the sky, down to Mother Earth, or Mother Russia, or Ukrainian territory, it's going to be hurting, and the hurt is not that important because it's instant death. And this is what it looks like in a field of sunflowers. Sunflowers sure looks nice. Unfortunately, there are quite a number of bodies everywhere. The first time that I saw the bodies was due to Facebook. You won't get to see the bodies in BBC, CNN, and NBC, or FOX, or Al Jazeera, because it's not that gruesome actually. The pictures that or the video that I watched in those Ukrainian news agency broadcasts via Facebook, it did not show the gruesome ones. Okay, this is censored. But recently, I using the power of Google Images, saw some kind of like quite gruesome pictures indeed. Oh, so what I have learned and might be true is the people in MH17, due to decompression at a very fast instant rate, went into, like, say, unconsciousness. They wouldn't know what hit them, and they either die of cold, or by impact from the sky to the ground. So would you say that would you be glad that they did not know what happened? Well, it would be better if that incident did not happen to them at all. So, but just have to see the silver lining on the cloud, right? It's just with a snap of a finger, they were out cold, and, well, they did not wake up anymore. So today is the 18th of September 2014. So Thursday is 2:08 p.m. So did I answer your question? They were out cold. They died of cold, and also impact from missile and impacting the ground. It's a somber view of the days to come, and also what happens when war happens. Like a line from the Fallout game, war. War never changes, and the victims are always the same. It is always the people around the setting or the situation that gets the full impact of war, hatred, guns, knives, explosions, and in this case, a Book 9K-37 missile system. And that's what happens when humans have weapons to play with, and when politics happens.